You ever felt like you're doing everything right, but somehow it feels wrong? Like you're moving, but not advancing. You're working, but you don't feel like you're winning. Let me tell you what nobody else will. You're not lost. You're not lazy. And you're for sure not broken. You've just been playing a game and you did not know the rules. You were playing a game you were not specifically designed for. Welcome to Wired to Win, where we stop guessing and we start decoding. Listen, I am absolutely excited about this series that I've started. I'm your host, Athena Renee. If you're familiar, we are all about helping the black sheeps, the misfits, the outliers level up in any means necessary in any economy. Okay. And our main principle and message is that we are all wired differently. And when we understand who we are at our core levels, we can better position ourselves to win. Okay? Because it's all about positioning. And to position yourself to win, you got to know who you are. You got to have some clarity on knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and the type of environments that you thrive in. And then you got to understand there's some environments that you shrink in. Well, in this series, we're going to take a look at your life path number so that you can get insight on how you are naturally wired so that you can always be in a position to make your next move your best move. Okay? Now, listen, I am absolutely ecstatic about this particular series because, you know, a lot of times as black sheeps, one of our first major issues is we're different. We recognize we're different, but we don't understand the why. And we don't understand how can we use it. Why? Because the world is so hooked on producing cookie cutter people, right? The world catered to the followers, people that want to fit in, people that seeks validation. But when you have this distinct group of people that they don't fit in no matter what trend is in, listen, this is a key determining factor that you were not created to fit in. You were created to stand out because you cannot lead or change something by fitting in. You have to literally turn your back to the crowd to be able to lead in a different direction. Okay. So I have been studying numerology, I would say for about 7 years. And I've been studying it off and on, and I've been studying it from different aspects. Okay. The first level that I've always been interested in it, number one, I used to really get into sacred geometry. Okay. I was really deep into the occult. And when I say occult, I don't mean devil worshiping and all of that weird stuff. Okay. I'm talking about how there's patterns that show up in the world and we can't explain them. We can only observe and respect the patterns. And numbers are one of them. And what's so cool about numbers is this is not some type of predicting the future fluff and all of that. Okay. This is about recognizing patterns, cycles, and divine timing through historical data so that we can continue to position ourselves in a winning position, but according to our DNA, according to how we were naturally wired. Okay, that's why I'm so excited about this particular series. Now let's talk a little bit more about the numerology. So I told you I started studying it from a sacred geometry standpoint. And sacred geometry, I'm just gonna give you a quick example of that. It kind of dibbles and dabbles with the Masonic stuff and everything, but a perfect example of sacred geometry would be the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is sometimes called the golden ratio. Some people even get into it with the pi and all of that. But what I want you guys to understand that in nature, the Fibonacci sequence, you will continue to see these different patterns of numbers that continue to show up in all of these miraculous places, right? It will be a pattern or a square root. Most of the time it's been like a square root of 3 and 9 and all of these different things. And you see the patterns over and over and over again, even from single cell organisms, plants, flowers, even in the heartbeat. It's so many different things. And it just lets you know that our creator he is a creator, right? But it also lets you know he is so detail oriented. Now listen to me. We will never have a complete understanding of everything that has went on in the world. Okay. But I truly believe that our creator, he wants us to know who we are so that we can continue to tap into the power that he's given us. Okay. But if we continue to go along with what's going on in the world right now and being distracted, going to the right, going to the left, we're following someone else's blueprint. You will never win. And even if it seems like you're winning in the beginning, what happens is you'll get burned out. And then you'll like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. You'll get burned out and you'll give up or you'll quit. But when you understand how you're wired and you position yourself to win from your DNA, that's what we call the black sheep numerology code. Okay. So the other piece of numerology is this. I was studying different religious groups and I was talking to a couple of them. Well, long story short, the Bible, Christianity, as well as the Quran and a lot of the Muslims that I had been speaking to, I was asking them, why do they always go into science and math? And the lady told me, because numbers are universal. She said, men throughout the years have always changed the words to different text to water it down so that we don't have the full power out of them. But she said, numbers are universal. She said, even when they change the calendar, once you understand how the cycles of the world works, you can get wisdom that will just put you on a completely different level and is not watered down. That's what really got me intrigued by numerology, because she was absolutely right. Man has been twisting the words, maps, everything around for a long time, but the numbers don't lie. Okay. So like I said, guys, this is not fortune telling. We're not doing magic tricks. We're not predicting your future like a psychic hotline. What we're doing is something way more powerful. We're doing pattern recognition. Numerology is a study of numbers and a language, a system, a code. And that code, it shows up in everything: time, money, music, nature, architecture, even decisions. Ancient civilizations, they understood this. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, and the one most well-known figures tied to this system, Pythagoras. Yes, the same one from math class. But what they didn't tell you is he believed numbers weren't just mathematical. They were spiritual, energetic, foundational to reality itself. Okay. So your life path number, it equals your operating system. Think about your phone. I always tell people that humans are the most sophisticated operating system on earth. HI, human intelligence, is the most sophisticated intelligence system on earth. AI, artificial intelligence, see, AI seems more intelligent because it has speed, right? But if you think about it, even AI had to learn from HI. Okay. So when you think about your life path number, that is your default setting, your operation system. It tells you how you think for the most part, like not exactly how you think, but overall, the system overall, it kind of governs how you move, how you lead. It will even tell you how you self-sabotage and where your real power is. This is why two people can do the same thing and get completely different results. One is in alignment, the other one is forcing it. And forcing anything for too long, that's how you get burned out. That's how you get frustrated, and that's how you start questioning yourself. Not because you're incapable, but because you're misaligned. See, remember when I told you guys on all of our content as a black sheep, regardless of what type of content that you get from our channels, from our websites, whether it be podcasting, blogs, or whatever, it is all designed, number one, for you to get clarity on knowing who you are. Number two, aligning you with the destiny that you were born to pursue. Okay, it's all about that. We use numerology to decode it so we can put you in a better position, because if you are aligned, regardless if you say I have a job, if you are aligned with the right, correct career, you're going to excel in it. But not only that, it's going to connect you to the people that will connect you to your destiny. Everything is about alignment. Music, hanging out with the right people, right? The right environment. This is why you can walk in the room and you can feel that your energy, you're like, oh, and you know what I love about energy is, and I'm not into all of this, all of the like far out things. But one thing I know is energy don't lie. So you don't have to be into all the woo woo and all of that, but you can feel it. Energy don't lie. And so that is all about being aligned. Am I in the right room? Because when you're not aligned, that's when problems occur, right? But when you understand who you are as a person, you don't fight it. You go find the right fit. And a lot of times, guys, when you're just seeking to work on yourself, everything that you need is going to come your way. Focus on you. Focus on making yourself a steady foundation and finding out who you are. And I'm telling you, alignment comes. Now, this is the part right here. This is where it gets dangerous. Because if you're a black sheep, you've already felt your difference. You already know you don't think like everybody else. You already know you don't see everything like everybody else. And sometimes you see them early, right? You don't follow the crowds. Instead of seeing that as your advantage, sometimes you'll try to fix it. But nah, we're not fixing those things. We're going to make it our powers. We're going to weaponize your difference, because your difference, that's your edge. That is your lane. That is your unfair advantage in a world full of copy and paste people. And once you understand your life path number, you stop asking, what should I do? And you start asking, what was I built to do? Okay, so let me say this plain. We're in the time where average is getting exposed. The middle is disappearing. Either you're aligned and ascending, or you're confused and you're stuck in cycles. And most people, they like to stay stuck because they're comfortable in their cycles. Okay. They don't understand who they are. So they allow themselves to just get caught up in the cyclone. They're chasing money, but they're not happy. They're working jobs that drain them, and they're building lives that don't really make them internally happy, but it fits into that cookie cutter lifestyle. And they're wondering why it feels off. This series is not about none of that. So over the next episodes, we're breaking down all 9 life path numbers. And I'm not giving you surface level information. We're going to go deep into your strengths, some of the blind spots, your money lane, your leadership style, your sabotage patterns, and how to actually win with it. So when you hear your number, you don't just feel seen, you become activated. Okay? You completely become activated. And another thing that I love about numerology is that, you know, a lot of people don't like astrology. That's the study of the stars and the celestial stars and things like that. And, you know, I do take a look at some of those things. But what I love about numerology is numerology takes information that is specifically from your life. It's specifically from your birth certificate, right? It's not like, oh, somebody just made up, like sometimes, and don't get me wrong, astrology is a science that has been around since the Babylonians as well, right? But what I find so interesting with numerology is how it takes your birth date on some things, like this life path number, and we're going to get into calculating it. But it actually takes your birth date number and calculate it down to a 1-digit number. And this is how you get your life path number, right? But it's actually taking your date of birth. I mean, and it's just so interesting because everybody has their own date of birth, right? And it's similar. And don't get me wrong, I understand we have the astrology, but numbers are just so universal. And I mean, and when you look at the numbers up all over again throughout history, they still mean some of the same things. It might just be in a different context. That's what makes it so powerful. So let's lock it in. I want you to calculate your life path number. Okay. If you don't know how yet, it's okay. We're going to figure it out. What you're going to do is you're going to take your date of birth, all the numerical parts. So if you were born in January 1st of 1980, okay, January 1st of 1980, you're going to write down 01011980, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to add all of those numbers together. So let's just add that up together. That's a very easy one, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. And 20 plus 0 is 20. Okay. All right. You see how we got that? We took January 1st. That's the first month. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we got 1980. We got 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. And 20 plus 0 is 20. Okay. And we're going to take that same number, if it's a 2-digit number, and we're going to add those together because you have to come back to a single digit number. Okay. And When we take 22 plus 0, that gives us a 2. That will give you your life path number. Okay? Do that for yourself. Calculate it up. Whatever your birth date is, calculate that up so that you can have the insight and start to go down the journey of being aligned, right? And being aligned in places where you can ascend easily because you got it set up according to your wiring. You're positioning yourself to prosper. Okay? So after you calculate up your path, your life path number, start to audit your life. Ask yourself, where am I forcing something that doesn't fit me? Be honest. Right? Be honest. And that's your first breakthrough. If you're forcing yourself in with groups of people, or with the person, or with the job, whatever it is, if it feels like you're forcing yourself, that is your first answer to let you know you're not aligned. Number 3, stop playing roles that shrink you. Listen to me very carefully, guys. Growth is about stretching. If you're not being stretched, you're not growing. That's what growth is all about, the stretching. Pay attention to where you're dimming your natural way of thinking, leading, or moving just to fit. That's costing you more than you think. Okay? If this episode hits you, this is just the surface. I'm putting together something for you guys. Listen, you're going to love it. It's going to help you lock in your life path number, understand your natural strengths, and start moving with intention instead of confusion. All right. So pay attention, guys. Lock in. Stay with this series, because once you understand your code, you stop chasing success and you start operating in it. Remember, as a black sheep, you're not behind. You're not off track. You were just never taught how you were wired. But now you're here. And I'm the first one to tell you, you've been wired to win, and I'm going to show you how. Let's get to work.